I ran into a couple, their name was Woods, and they had a one-year-old with them, and they were walking down Dunrobin Road, and they looked like they were pretty shattered. Like he looked pretty dirty and sort of ragged, like he'd been through a lot. And we stopped to try and talk to them, and she was crying. And it started to rain, just to make things worse. It was raining all over my notebook. I can't take notes anymore, I can't tape record. And you just kind of think, all you can be is human, right? I was sitting at my desk, just about ready to put my coat on to walk out the door.
Here in the newsroom at the Ottawa Citizen, Ottawa Sun, at my desk.
The rains were coming down pretty hard, and suddenly they stopped the bus, pulled over to the side of the road, and said there was going to be no Oktoberfest for us that night.
So I was sitting in my office when I first started seeing reports on Twitter that there had been a tornado touchdown. We had known all day that there were tornado warnings and that there was a watch on, so we were aware that this might happen.
I was glued to Twitter and to Facebook looking for first-person accounts.
Eventually, I figured we got to get something online. It won't be much of a story at this stage, but I just wrote that there's a suspected tornado there. The paramedic service says people have been injured and there's damage to homes, and we'll get you more information when we have it.
We had seen a picture on Twitter of shingles off the main mall, and I thought that's all it was, but when I got there, it was pretty evident it was a lot more than just a few loose shingles.
The Mont Bleu community was incredibly hard hit.
At a certain point, somebody came over to talk to me about the fact that we didn't have power to power our presses. And so while we were feeding the web to try and keep everybody who was in the thick of it up to date about what was happening in their neighborhoods and kind of what to expect as they navigated their commutes home, we had no way at that point to put out a print product.
Saturday morning, I woke up at about 6:45, turned on my work phone, which actually was exploding with emails, and realized I needed to come to work.
The newsroom was full of people. There was no ventilation and no lights because we were on auxiliary power, so it was a whole different mood in the newsroom. But and the thing that I noticed, though, that although there were lots of people getting assignments and going out, it was very calm and everybody just doing their jobs.
It had hit just at a time when people were kind of ending their day, and it's a Friday and people are taking off for the weekend and trying to figure out how are we even going to handle this, and then the adrenaline just kind of kicks in.
And people were just consumed with a breaking news story.
It sank in more actually in the newsroom with the reporters coming back with their stories, and I saw reporters that had been here 30 years just shaken and really stunned by what they had seen, and we started to realize how big it was.
Suddenly a street where houses were missing top floors, there were trees all over the place, there were people standing out looking stunned, there were lots of people with chainsaws going, there were cars flipped. It was pretty unbelievable to me coming off a winding suburban street where there'd be houses with not a leaf on the lawn, and you come around a corner to the scene of carnage.
Neighbors were out helping neighbors. There's cars that were destroyed by trees. There's roofs off, which they just replaced last year. So a lot of people were just helping each other, and it was a good feel.
People were rallying around, helping each other, and that's what I find in situations like these. That the events themselves are terrible, but it really does reaffirm your faith in people.
How resilient this city is, how everybody came together to help out, from emergency services to the hydro crews working around the clock. It's pretty amazing.
We're sometimes viewed a little bit as vultures who are there on the scene just to, to get content for our papers or our radio stations or TV stations, but we don't get any pleasure out of it for sure, and we're trying to bring this story to the world so that people can understand the impact of what's going on. And the positive side of that is that if people want to mobilize and help, either with money or donations or their own manpower, then that's how they find out. So you do feel like you're fulfilling a kind of a useful role.
We're news people. We do this. This is our job. So you take from it that you just do your job and you do it well and you try to get as much out to the people that you can. And that's what we do. We just keep going and going and going.